Web3 is an idea that all services on the internet could be powered by blockchains. But what does that really mean? How will it affect the way we use internet today? And finally, how would it work? We'll answer all these questions and more in today's video. When exploring a new idea, it's always better to have the proper context. So, let's take a look at the evolution of internet and the way we use it today. This will be very important for us to really grasp the ideology behind Web3 and its potential. The first version of the internet was basically about bringing information online and making it accessible to everyone. You could go online to look up anything from plumbing services in your area to research papers from halfway around the globe. This was magical at the time, both for users and companies. However, information was read-only for the most part, meaning you could access it but not really contribute to it. Examples include WebMD, CNN, etc. In Web 1, a website creates the content and also reap the benefits of that content. Simple. Then came Web 2, where users could contribute to the internet. We are talking services like Facebook, YouTube, and Wikipedia that let people share their photos, videos, and knowledge. Now the web is both read and write because you can use these websites to both access and contribute information. Companies monetize this content through ads and learning from users' preferences to offer better ads. In Web 2, much of the content is generated by users, and the benefits of that content are reaped by the companies. Before moving on to Web 3, let's take a look at the problems in this model. Users don't really have the ownership of the content they upload. For instance, if you are using Spotify and are looking to switch to a new music streaming service, you can't really take all your playlists and music preferences with you. Even though you made them, you don't really have ownership of them. Because you don't have full control over your own data, the Web 2 services can lock you in their ecosystem. They build these walled gardens that are hard to get out of. You can see this playing out everywhere today. Apple, YouTube, Amazon all have content generated by the user but can't be moved to somewhere else easily. It's not just a user pain point, it also seriously limits innovation. These services do not work with new products unless it's in their best interest to do so. This gives them a lot of power to suppress innovation. You can see this play out all the time, Facebook against Snapchat, Apple against many indie developers, and so on. The connection between all these problems is centralization of power. As more and more people join a Web 2 service, it gets more and more powerful, and the control remains in the hands of just a few people. Web 3 aims to create a decentralized internet in which people can securely exchange information and value without the need for middlemen or big tech companies. Web 3 is achieving this by using blockchains to power the new internet. It is still very much an evolving idea, but to get a sense of how this could all come together, let's look at some examples of Web 2 versus Web 3 for different things we do on the internet today. Authentication. In Web 2, we have usernames and passwords for each website. In Web 3, people use their wallet for authentication. Anytime you want to sign into a Web 3 service, you just connect with a wallet like MetaMask. Access. In Web 2, we have browsers like Chrome to access any website. Almost all Web 3 services are also accessible using Chrome because they are hosted on both Web 2 and Web 3 infrastructure. There are also Web 3 browsers like Brave and Opera which support accessing information from blockchains directly. Storage. We use Google Drive or iCloud to store files in Web 2. In Web 3, content is stored on decentralized storage networks like IPFS, Interplanetary File System. For payments, we have centralized payment options like PayPal in Web 2, and in Web 3, payments are made through various cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum. There are also decentralized stablecoins like DAI and USD that are always equal to $1. Governance. In Web 2, services are usually controlled by a few people, CEO and management of a company. Web 3 services use DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, to steer the direction of the service in a decentralized manner. DAOs are a very fascinating blockchain innovation. We made a whole video about them. Check it out, link in the description. There are a lot more things we do on the internet today, and people are working on bringing them all into Web 3. Now, what are the benefits of Web 3? Before we get to that, if you find this helpful so far, like this video and subscribe to our channel. It would benefit us a lot. Decentralization. Web3 services are powered by smart contracts on the blockchain. This means no more centralized control. Ownership. Content and value in Web3 is represented as ERC20 tokens and NFTs. This gives control to the users and creators. For instance, even though over 95% of the NFT trading volume happens on OpenSea, it doesn't own any of these tokens. Users do. If a better platform comes along, users can easily move their tokens without any help from OpenSea. Interoperability. Since Web3 services are essentially a bunch of smart contracts on the blockchain, they can talk to each other without any extra work from the developers. Compare this with the Web2 world, where if two services want to talk to each other, they have to build and support special interfaces. Interoperability also means innovation. The whole Web3 space is like Lego blocks that you can combine to build new ideas. Here is an example of this playing out today. Popular lending platforms like Aave and Compound need an exchange to liquidate bad loans. Instead of building it themselves, they just plug into Uniswap, the biggest decentralized exchange. Then there are many yield-generating platforms like Yarn Finance that plug into Aave and Compound to generate the best yields for their users. All these benefits make Web3 look like a promised land. However, it has its own downsides. Learning curve. Switching to Web3 is a bit of a learning curve for new users. It requires users to get familiar with setting up a wallet and managing their own keys. All this when users often fail to remember a password they picked. There are services aiming to make this transition smooth for the average user. No recourse. In the Web3 world, it's not possible to reverse an action once it is added to the blockchain. This means no calling up customer support to reverse an incorrect transfer or recover a lost or stolen key. That's the flip side to users having full control. This lack of recourse can be challenging to an average person. Millions of dollars of crypto are lost to mistakes like this every week by average and proficient users. Scalability. There are many dimensions to the scalability issues, but we'll look at two of them here. Throughput. This is the number of transactions per second the blockchain can process. In this year, we have seen the rise of blockchains like Solana and Avalanche, promising up to 65,000 transactions per second, almost close to that of Visa payments. However, Web3 is more than just payments, so it has to be much higher than that. There is a lot of exciting work happening in the way of blockchain scaling using layer 2s, sharding, etc. I'll cover this in depth in another video. And then we have resource constraints. Every transaction on the blockchain is verified by thousands of validators. This means every unit of computation on chain is repeated thousands of times for verification. This makes it impractical to do any intense computation on chain. The same also applies for every bit of data stored. Surely there are many issues that needs to be worked out before we see the full Web3 in action. We already made significant progress towards that vision. It's exciting to look at all the opportunities Web3 has already unlocked and its potential to drive innovation through decentralization. Now, I would like to hear your thoughts on Web3. What do you think? Is Web3 a game changer or just a hype? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button, it will help us reach more people, and subscribe to our channel for more content. Thanks for watching, this is Praveen and I'll see you again soon.